With Game 7 and the Dodgers' victory parade behind us, it's only right to look back on the moments that got us here. This is my ranking for the top 10 Dodgers 2025 postseason moments. But first, thank you to everyone who has supported this channel. It started out as a simple passion project, and now it's kind of transformed into a runway that I'm using to pursue this pathway as a professional career. I'm taking classes at UCLA, but simultaneously I'm putting a lot of time and effort into these videos, this channel, so thank you so much for the support. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, leave comments on my videos and share your thoughts, and share the channel with anybody else who might be interested as well. Thank you for the support. Now back to the ranking. Each moment is going to fall into one of these three categories. You ready? It's going to be, did that just happen? Let's go! And wow, just wow. And by the way, this is going to take into consideration all series of the Dodgers postseason, and this is just my opinion about which moments were the most impactful, some of the most unexpected, and also factoring in my experience while watching these moments. Here we go, number 10, we're going back a rewind to the NLDS, Roki Sasaki coming out of the bullpen, not for 1 inning, not for 2 innings, but 3 innings of scoreless baseball, of perfect baseball, to keep the game tied and allow the Dodgers to win the NLDS in 4 games. This is going in the category of wow, just wow. They signed Roki Sasaki to be a starter. We know that didn't happen this year, but they have him in the bullpen and he comes out for a longer relief appearance than he's ever been in. He comes out and looked unhittable. He was unhittable in that game, mowing through those scary Phillies sluggers. He takes the ball in the 8th inning, ends in the 11th. Dodgers end up winning that game, and he will most likely get stretched out to be a starter in 2026, just to be that 5th guy in the rotation, make sure every starting pitcher has enough rest over the course of the season. But at least for now, we know that he can be in the bullpen as that lights out guy that we saw him this year. That was his big, hey, this is who I am. This is the pitcher that I am capable of being. That's what he showed the world on this big stage. Amazing appearance. Wow, just wow. Moving on to number 9, again, NLDS moment. This is coming in Game 1 and is from Teoscar Hernandez. This is going to be a let's go moment. It's a 3-run home run to put the Dodgers on top in Game 1. I think this is such an important home run. In fact, I think if Teoscar Hernandez doesn't hit this home run, the Dodgers don't even make it to the World Series. That's how impactful I think this moment was. The Phillies, in my opinion, were the team to beat. They had their starting pitching on lock, all-star level pitchers in the bullpen, and their lineup very similar to the Blue Jays lineup. Sluggers, scary, all-star level sluggers with contact hitters to back them up. So for Teo to set the tone in Game 1 and end up taking that first game in Philadelphia, where the Philadelphia Phillies had this huge home field advantage, and then bring in that momentum to take Game 2 for a 2-0 series lead coming back to Los Angeles, huge moment, and it was great to see how the Dodgers weren't going to roll over easily when they were behind pretty early in that game. Great to see it. Huge moment for Teo. I'm glad that his power turned on when the calendar flipped to October. Number 8. Some people may say this should be higher, but there were just so many crazy moments in this postseason. This is one of my favorite players, Will Smith, hitting the go-ahead home run in Game 7 of the World Series. This has to be a let's go moment because Will Smith fractured his hand in late September. He didn't know if he was going to be available even for the postseason in their games, and he slowly made his way back, started making his way into the starting lineup. He ended up catching every single inning of the World Series. That's how impactful he was for this team. Back in that middle of the order spot, he was one of their most consistent hitters, if not the most consistent hitter in their lineup this season. We know he loves his clutch moments, and all the work that he's put in has paid off for that moment. Love to see the homegrown talent also developing into a top-tier big leaguer, making top-tier plays in the biggest stage. Let's go. That's the category this falls under. Now, number 7 comes from Andy Pages. He was silent almost all postseason, but he was the right person at the right time for which play? There's one of 2 options here, but I'm going with the NLDS walk-off error in Game 4 that sent the Dodgers to the NLCS. He hits a little nubber to Orion Kerkering with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 12th. Kerkering panics, throws the ball away. Haesung Kim scores at home. The Dodgers walk off the Phillies to move on. The emotional relief to know that the Phillies are in the rearview mirror for the Dodgers now. They got through that huge test, just like they got through the Padres test last year in 2024. Now, sights set on the Brewers, sights set on the World Series, no looking back. Crazy moment. That's why it falls under the what just happened category. I've never seen a walk-off that way, and especially at that level, that stage of the postseason when it matters so much. Great play, that's number 7. Number 6 comes from a player that we haven't talked about yet, and that is, drumroll, Kike Hernandez, Mr. October for the Dodgers himself. This is a back-to-back what just happened play. This one came in Game 6 of the World Series to end the game, keep the Dodgers' hopes alive, and force a Game 7. This is a crazy play because you have to take into context what happened in the few pitches prior. Rookie Sasaki is struggling, he gets the bases loaded. Addison Barger hits that ground rule double that actually gets stuck, lodged in the outfield wall, which the Blue Jays manager says he's never seen that happen at Rogers Center before. The Blue Jays' win probability after that double was at 43.1%, nearly half and half. One pitch later, after they bring in Tyler Glasnow, Ernie Clement pops up, their win probability sunk down to 28.4%, and then 2 pitches later after that, their win probability was 0% for the game. Why? Because Andres Jimenez lines out to Kike, Barger gets caught napping, taking too big of a lead off of second base, and Kike guns the ball back to second, almost gets by Miggy Rowe, double play to end the game. What just happened? I know I had to replay that moment several times, and I think that was such a big play because the Blue Jays, they were looking good. They were going into Game 6 up by 1 game. It was 3-2 series lead for them. Both Game 6 and 7 were going to be at home, and it looked like they had the Dodgers on the ropes. Not only did this game secure a Game 7, that their season was still going, but it almost gave them this sense of, let's get crazy with this. We won this game in this crazy fashion. Let's do it again. It's any team's championship at this point. 1 game, anything can happen. Any given inning, any given pitch. Let's get crazy with this. That's what they did in Game 7, but it was that play that ended the game in Game 6 that made that possible. Number 6, Kike's double play. For number 5, we have a dual moment for 2 players, Miggy Rowe and Andy Pages, and you guessed it, this is another World Series moment. This is going to be in the category of what just happened, so a third play in that category. Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 9th, World Series Game 7. So much can go wrong in this situation for the Dodgers. Miguel Rojas gets a ground ball hit to him. He looks for the double play to end the inning, but there's nobody home at second. He's losing his balance, throws the ball home. Will Smith catches it and takes his foot off the plate for almost too long, allowing Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to score, but he gets it back down. Game still tied. What if Isaiah Kiner-Falefa gets a bigger lead off the third? What if he doesn't slide and runs through the plate? I guess we'll never know. 1 pitch later, Ernie Clement lifts a ball that has Kike running full sprint toward the wall, about to make a Willie Mays catch, and then Andy Pages comes out of nowhere, out of the frame for the camera, and just steamrolls Kike to make that catch and preserving the Dodgers tie, keeping the game going into extras. Andy Pages didn't even make the start in that game. Great move by Dave Roberts to put him in for his arm in that inning, in that 9th inning defensively, but it was actually his wheels that turned out to be the difference. Crazy turn of events on back-to-back pitches. What just happened? What just happened was the Dodgers kept the game tied going into extra innings in World Series Game 7. Came out in their favor. That's number 5. Now, number 4 is something that we've already talked about at length in a previous video. It goes in the category of wow, just wow. That's Shohei Ohtani. We haven't talked about the greatest of all time in this video yet, but his performance in Game 4 of the NLCS is something that's going to go down in baseball history books. 10 Ks on the mound as the starting pitcher, and 3 huge home runs all over 400 feet, one of them leaving the stadium to send his team to the World Series. Not in a game in April, in August, in October, to go to the Fall Classic. That's probably never going to be done again. Never mind the situation, the stage that it was on. But if that does happen again, it's probably going to be done by Shohei Ohtani, again, breaking his own record. Living legend, that guy. He's number 4. Alright everybody, let's get into our top 3 Dodgers postseason moments on the year. Number 3, wow, just wow, Will Klein coming in for 4 innings of scoreless baseball in Game 3 of the World Series. He'd only ever gone 1 inning, but then he goes in for 4, becoming a household name in LA before Freddie Freeman, because who else, ends the game with an 18th inning walk-off home run to send everybody home before midnight. It was the longest running World Series game in history. Instant classic. Wow, we just watched history. Where were you when you saw that moment? I'm sure you will never forget. That's number 3. Number 2, here's the one that people might get upset about because it's not at number 1, but I think this is the World Series MVP, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Back-to-back complete games, one in the NLCS against the Brewers, one in the World Series. He goes out again in Game 6, elimination game for the Dodgers, throws a 6-inning gem, and then he comes out the next day. No rest for Yoshi. Wasn't even sure if he was going to be in a position to pitch with his arm strength. He goes in the bullpen, throws a few pitches, says, I'm good, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to help my team win no matter what, win those back-to-back championships. First one in MLB since 2000 when the Yankees did it. What he did, I've never seen. I think we will probably never see it again in the next few years, at least in the next decade when it comes to World Series appearances at least. The biggest comp that I've heard so far is Orel Hershiser in 1988 in their World Series when the Dodgers won that year. The selflessness, putting the team first, and having the elite stuff to back it up. Legend for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That's why they paid him the big bucks without ever throwing a pitch in the major leagues when they signed him to a 12-year deal. This one's going under the category of wow. Just wow. Yamamoto, Dodgers legend for life. Here's my number 1 moment of the postseason. Game 7, World Series. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs away from elimination and their season ending. And who comes up and hits a home run to tie the game? Was it Ohtani? Was it Mookie Betts? Was it Freddie Freeman again? Nope. It was the number 9 hitter in the lineup, a guy who made his debut in 2014 and saved Clayton Kershaw's no-hitter, came back a few years ago and has become one of the captains of this team, Miguel Rojas, coming through in the clutch, supplying the power, tying the game, keeping the hope alive for these Dodgers. Watching this game, I was mentally and emotionally preparing for the loss. The Blue Jays, in my opinion, played a lot more of a well-rounded game in this World Series. But the Dodgers came through when it mattered, and Miguel Rojas was right in the middle of that. Dave Roberts, credit to him going with his gut and putting Rojas in the lineup in Game 6 and 7. The energy and level of compete that he infuses into the game and onto the field is just second to none. The experience that he holds. Great to see him not just be a leader in the clubhouse, but also on the field with the production as well. That home run will go down as one of the best moments in Dodgers postseason history. Now, side note, people say the Dodgers are ruining baseball, that they're buying their championships. 6 of the 9 guys who were featured in these highlights were either low-budget additions to the team or homegrown talents. Just saying. What were your top 10 moments of the Dodgers postseason? Let me know down in the comments. What's your number 1 pick? So many to choose from. This was really hard to narrow down, guys. To have to look at all the different games and think, how in the world am I not only going to select 10, but then rank them? That was tough. Let me know what you thought of my ranking and drop your own as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Celebrate this win, guys. Soak it in. Enjoy this golden era of Dodgers baseball. We have a lot to talk about this offseason. This is not the last you'll see of me in 2025, that's for sure. Thank you for watching. Go Dodgers. My name is Alan Maurice, and I will see you on the next episode of All Things Dodgers.